the unemployment compensation is there for them. In fact,
I'm going to shock you too. I think California ought to raise its minimum wage really high, so maybe even Maryland can get some more jobs, because they will leave California. They just did. I mean, Toyota left for Texas. Believe me, it's because the taxes are high. One of the reasons you need a living wage that high in California is they tax everything that moves in California.
Well, let me move to a different topic related, though. You're talking about the people who are unemployed. You're concerned about that. You want people to be able to get work. Why won't you, Republicans in the House, support the bipartisan Senate bill to extend that runway under those active job seekers? I do not understand your position on unemployment insurance. These are active job seekers. These are people who are trying to get work, and you got a bipartisan solution in the Senate. Are you for it or against it?
I've signed on to the bipartisan solution in the House. It says you extend the unemployment, but you build the Keystone Pipeline.
Exactly. Put all this stuff on.
Well, paying for it?
You didn't do that under George W. Bush. How can you? You got people watching you right now.
I thought this is the worst crisis we've had. This is the most we've ever spent on unemployment. This is whether I'm going to ask my children and grandchildren to pay for unemployment this year. I think if we pay for it, I've signed on to the bill. I've signed on to Charlie Dent's bill.
That's mean. There are 3 million
people living.
No, what's
mean is telling my grandchild. What's mean is telling my
These
children
3
and
million
grandchildren
people
to pay for
who
that.
lost their unemployment at the end of December are living, many are living in cars now. They need their unemployment. This is an emergency.
And we should. The bill is in the House. All it says is
back to Europe.
You don't get disability plus unemployment insurance.
You don't treat people like that, Andrew.
Here's the thing.
That's not American.
There is actually a bill that has passed in the Senate that doesn't do all these tricks. Look, when George W. Bush was president, you extended it. You didn't try to figure out all kind of pay-for-it and stick in your favorite projects. You said, listen, let's take care of Americans. Don't you love Americans now?
I'm going to shock you. The Senate's a little different from the House. The Senate wants to spend money without thinking about its effect on the fiscal situation. The House actually wants to act responsibly.
The whole argument's wrong, because when if George W. Bush was president, the Keystone Pipeline would be completed by now.
And you would have 33 permanent jobs.
Our values are: we are our brother's keeper, we are our sister's keeper. We should be careful that we don't start playing around with that value. People deserve to, they pay into unemployment.
Aren't we also our children and our grandchildren's keeper? Don't we owe them some obligation to not bankrupt them?
Yeah, but you don't need to play them against each other. People have paid into unemployment. They deserve their unemployment.
This is from general revenue. This has nothing to do with paying into unemployment. We do things like say, look, that you should actually, if you claim the dependent child care tax credit, you actually ought to have a Social Security number on your tax return. $4 billion a year paid illegally by the IRS for that. It could pay for all the unemployment
3 million people deserve their unemployment, Andrew, and you should vote for it.
Let's give it to them.
You should vote for it.
Now, hold on a second. Two things. First of all, every single time anything happens in America, you guys scream Keystone Pipeline. Last night, we were talking about Putin and how to stop Putin, a tyrant, from eating Europe. You know what the answer was? Build a Keystone Pipeline. I just want to make sure you know, people back home know, you're talking about 3,000 temporary jobs for 1 year and 33 permanent jobs patching the pipe. 33 permanent jobs patching the pipe.
The world.
Man, you can take it off the table by building it. If you build it, it won't come up again.
But to hold people hostage for a signal on Keystone is not an American value. The majority of American people would say no way to that.
You need to give me a shot here. Stay here. We want you at home to weigh in on today's Fireback question. Do you agree with the Seattle mayor that the minimum wage should be raised to $15 an hour? Tweet yes or no using hashtag Crossfire. We'll have the results after the break. We also have the outrage of the day. I'm outraged that only billionaires are lining up to buy the Los Angeles Clippers. Shouldn't the American people get a chance as well?
At Rubicon Projects, we're on a mission to automate the buying and selling of advertising. We help sellers by connecting them with more than 100,000 advertisers, whether that be through auctions or direct orders. It's really exciting to be here at the New York Stock Exchange. What we're doing for advertising is similar to what New York Stock Exchange did for financial stock trading. It's really a great combination of people and technology working together.
The look of success just got easier. Joseph A. Bank Traveler dress shirts and sports shirts. Now 3 for $109. 100% cotton, wrinkle-free traditional and trimmer fits. A fantastic limited time value, 3 for $109. Through Saturday at Joseph A.
you may have to travel like this. But at Courtyard, you can stay like this and enjoy more of this and this. It's a new stay. Courtyard.
$93 billion, $177,000 per minute. That's what Big Oil made last year. Now they're spending it to rig the system against you, pushing Washington to cut American-made biofuels, bullying gas stations to use more of their oil. Also, they get richer and you pay more. Truth is, biofuels are cleaner, better for your engine, and less expensive. Washington, don't let Big Oil rig the system anymore. Protect the renewable fuel standard.
With Basic Talk Home Phone Service, you can make unlimited, crystal clear domestic calls for just $9.99 a month, every month. But if you don't believe me, listen to this Englishman say it in a British accent.
Indeed. With Basic Talk Home Phone Service, you can make unlimited, crystal clear domestic calls for just $9.99 a month, every month. As dependable as my afternoon cup of tea.
Basic Talk, just $9.99 a month. Call, click, or go to Walmart today.
Everything that goes into a Lennox system is engineered for comfort. Like parts that create your perfect temperature and humidity, or the parts that purify the air. Together, these parts can cut your heating and cooling bills in half, which is quite comforting. And here's the best part. Call now to get up to $1,700 back or special financing on select Lennox home comfort systems. Offer ends June 13th. Plus, download our free Lennox mobile app with an energy savings calculator. If your current system is 10 years or older, start planning now and take advantage of special financing. So call now to get up to $1,700 back or special financing on select Lennox home comfort systems. Offer ends June 13th. And download our free Lennox mobile app. Lennox, innovation never felt so good.
Next, one of the largest meat recalls in years. Outfront investigates why tainted beef was shipped to a store near you and looks into cancerous cows and an illicit affair. Aaron Burnett Outfront, next on CNN.
New York has a proud history of fighting discrimination. That's why it's shocking Rob Astorino has repeatedly violated federal anti-discrimination laws for years. He's the only county executive in the nation who refuses to comply. $10 million in penalties for civil rights violations. The New York Times on Astorino. Die-hard resistance to civil rights laws didn't work out for the South half a century ago, and it won't work now. Rob Astorino. So far right, he's wrong for New York.
How has Cub Cadet been an American original since 1961? By delivering high performance. By being strong enough to do more than mow. By perfecting a cut that's consistently beautiful. And by giving you exceptional offers. Go to cubcadet.com to find a dealer near you.
I'm Christiana Manpour, and this is CNN.
Now it's time for our outrages of the day. I'm outraged that only billionaires get to own sports teams, and it's largely a rigged game. With all the talk about the NBA owners forcing Donald Sterling to sell the Los Angeles Clippers, I think the people of Los Angeles deserve a chance to bid against the billionaires lining up to buy the team. Calista owns a share of stock in the Green Bay Packers. I think it would be very helpful for America to move professional sports back to a community-based system instead of a billionaire-based system. After all, most sports arenas are built with taxpayer money. Why shouldn't taxpayers also have a chance to own the team? And I'd just be curious what you three think of that.
I actually kind of agree with you, Newt.
I think it's a very novel idea, although you say that Green Bay has that model. I think anytime people are invested in any economic activity, it's really very
and people are invested in it. They've paid for the stadiums. You're right. They ought to be able to own the team.
Yeah, well,
that would be a seismic change
Absolutely.
in the way these sports have been operated.
Well, I think we should spread that around. Now, listen, that's a good idea. I want to talk about something else. I know everybody's supposed to be happy, slappy. It's almost the weekend. And you know what? That's part of why I'm outraged. It is going to be anything but a fun weekend for about 200 schoolgirls. These are teenagers.